4 or 5 years ago, never would have imagined that you would give a standing ovation to a woman for merely saying men and women are different. But nonetheless, here we are. Really, I personally, as this has become my mission for the past 2 or so years, I personally could not be more excited, overwhelmed with the support and the outpour of, desperation. That's what it feels like. People who were desperate to hear the message that these girls are here to communicate. And so thank you from the bottom of my heart. Super excited to be here, but on the other hand, I'm pissed off, to be honest with you. It's pretty frustrating that we have to be here, that you guys had to take time out of your Saturday morning to be here, again, to listen to a message that you all already know. The people who are advocating for this, that they already know too. But again, here we are. This is the second time now that I have been able to stand in unity, really with a full team, like we're going to see today. We saw this at Roanoke College with their swim team there. So shout out to those girls for being so brave. But understand what you're going to see today is rare. That type of unity, being able to link arms in the way that they have. And understandably so. You'll hear from them. You'll hear the tactics that their university has used, that the institution has used to keep them quiet, to keep them fearful, to stifle their voices, but nonetheless, they stand in unity, which I believe deserves to be applauded. Of course, it seems most of you are here in support, regardless of if you're here in support or not. And this, I think, this next message is directed pretty specifically to the media. Listen to these girls. Leave your bias, leave your prejudice, leave any sort of preconceived notion at the door. Listen to their raw emotion, their hearts that they're going to pour out to you. It's oftentimes that people like me, people like Sam Brown, it's oftentimes yeah, absolutely. Who has been a fearless and fierce defender of women in sports, but broader than that. It's oftentimes people like us are labeled as some sort of phobia or ism. I'm here to tell you I'm not against, and I know I speak for these girls as well, we're not against any single person, any single group, and any single human being. The message that we are here to share, the stand that we have taken is not one against anything. It is a stand that is for something. It's a stand that is pro-transparency. It is pro-safety. It is pro-privacy in areas of undressing. It is pro-equal opportunity. The stand that we have taken and will continue taking is pro-woman. To just give a very, very brief background on me, I was a collegiate swimmer. I swam at University of Kentucky. In my senior year, we had to compete against Leah Thomas, who is, of course, formerly Will Thomas, who swam 3 years at the men's team at University of Pennsylvania before deciding to switch to the women's team, where at best, in his rightful category, he was mediocre. That's probably generous. He was a less than average male swimmer competing with the men, ranking in the 400s and 500s nationally, to then switching to the women's side, ultimately winning a national title, tying with me in the 200 freestyle at that NCAA championships. I don't say that because this is about me. My I guess, personal experience has been well documented at this point, but I say that to say the story is virtually the same in every single scenario across the country as this continues to happen at an exponential rate. It's the same in the sense of course, the unfair competition. It's the same in the sense of the violation, the lack of transparency, the tactics, again, that they use to keep us quiet, the gaslighting, the emotional blackmail, the cowardice of leaders who claim to defend women who claim to defend their student athletes, and I know that's the case here. These leaders sit idly by and do nothing. Not only actually do they do nothing, they celebrate what's happening to these girls. So before I invite them up here, I want to make a public challenge, actually, to the president of the NCAA, Charlie Baker, who has remained, weak-kneed and spineless and morally bankrupt on the topic of allowing men to compete in women's sports. While I guess calling him out, let's go ahead and call out Gloria Nevarez, who is the president of the Mountain West Conference. I say this directly into the camera, do the right thing. It's not hard to do the right thing. Stop treating girls and women as an afterthought. We as women, we deserve to call ourselves champions. And the message that they're sending is in total contrast with that. They say we're not worthy. We're not worthy, again, of safety. We're not worthy of fairness. We're not worthy of equal opportunity. No, we as women, to Gloria Nevarez and to Charlie Baker and to leaders here at this university, including the president and including the athletic director, we exist to validate the feelings the message that they're sending is that we as women, these girls in particular, exist to validate the feelings and the identity of a man at the expense of our own. This is about more than just women's sports. I trust the people in this room know that. It's about whether women, and objective truth for that matter, biological reality, it's about whether those things matter or not. And to me, as a common sense person who intuitively knows that men and women are different, I believe that those things do matter. And so I would love to bring out the University of Nevada's, I learned how to say Nevada, by the way. I want to bring out the University of Nevada women's volleyball team. This is what bravery looks like. This is what leadership looks like. Certainly more bravery and leadership than the people who are supposed to be protecting them have shown. And so, again, just really couldn't be more grateful for these girls, for the stand that they have so fiercely been willing to take. And so, to kick things off, I am enthused to introduce the captain of the University of Nevada women's volleyball team. She, over the past few weeks, since initially making this statement, she really has been the face of the team, the face of this movement for the university, and again, broader than that, for the Mountain West Conference and for every girl or woman in the nation. Could not be more excited to introduce the co-captain, Sia Li'ili. Li'i.
Oh, yeah. Aloha. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for that amazing introduction, Riley, and thank you so much for that. It just makes everything so much more worthwhile for all we've been working for. If you didn't already know, my name is Sia Li'i, and I am a captain as well as senior on the University of Nevada Reno women's volleyball team. I have played sports my entire life. I come from a big Polynesian family from Oahu, Hawaii. My older siblings all played sports, and my dad's actually a football coach, so I've been around competitive sports all my life. And that's why I'm so passionate, and I love sports so much. Growing up, I played many sports, but as I grew older, I fell in love with volleyball, and it became my dream to become a Division I volleyball player. A dream that I am thankful has become a reality. My first volleyball game was at the age of 8, and now at 21 years old, I see that my collegiate journey is coming to a close. This is my senior year, my final year to practice, compete, and play with my teammates who have become my best friends. Volleyball is more than just a sport for me. It's a part of who I am. My dedication and passion for volleyball has given me the opportunity to pursue an education that my parents could never afford. Volleyball has taught me many life lessons that shaped me into the woman who stands before you today. I never expected to be blindsided, having to compete against a male athlete. When the news broke, I was stunned, as many of my teammates were. This is not what we signed up for. At the beginning of this season, brave women across our conference were meeting with their coaches and school administration, telling them that they would not play against San Jose State. Their schools released vague messages of forfeit without directly addressing the injustice that we're all facing in women's volleyball. Just hours before our team was scheduled to play our in-state rival at UNLV, we learned that our university had made a decision for us. They released a statement on our behalf saying we were going to play. We were not consulted, we were not given a voice, and we did not agree. And beyond this battle to defend our sports and our free treatment, fair treatment, it hurt to know our university was taking a position that could potentially hurt us. My teammates and I were very emotional, and I'm not sure I can put into words what it feels like to dread what you have to face like this and know that we were all on our own. Our rights and our voices were taken away. We felt unsafe and dismissed. We did not come to school expecting to have to fight for basic fairness. The Mountain West Conference is failing us. The NCAA is failing us, and we realized we had to go out on our own. We met with our school officials to give them our team's new statement, but they wouldn't even hear it. We were told that we weren't educated enough, and we didn't understand the science. We were told that we should reconsider our position. Well, we reconsidered, all right. And we are educated enough, and we do understand the difference between a male and a female athlete. So my question to the NCAA and the Mountain West Conference is, how many young women will have to be beaten or see their friends beaten out for an opportunity from a male before enough is enough? Men do not belong in women's sports. If you are born a male, you do not belong in women's sports. This has never been about one individual athlete. This is about safety and fair competition for all women's sports, as well as the athletes who are pursuing sports at any level. It is my wish for women to have fair competition, to have their voices heard, and to be protected by Title IX, the NCAA, the schools and clubs they compete for. I will continue to fight for my friends, my family, and the next generation of female athletes. All female athletes deserve to be protected at every level and every age. This is unfair and it has to be stopped. And now I would like to introduce my teammate, Kinsley Singleton.
Hi everyone, my name is Kinsley Singleton and I'm a freshman on the University of Nevada women's volleyball team. I started volleyball at a very young age and I fell in love with it from the second I started. Volleyball is more than a sport to me, and I hope every young girl in this audience gets to experience what I have from this sport. Volleyball is a part of who I am and always will be. When I committed to Nevada, I was overwhelmed with excitement. It was and still is my dream to play collegiate volleyball. I never thought when I achieved my dream of playing in college, I would have to confront a male competing in my sport. He is He's built differently than us. He is stronger. It is okay to say that. I am proud of my team for standing up and making the point that we deserve fair sports, and I don't want anyone to have to experience what we are going through right now. It's important that we take this opportunity to show that we won't quietly accept being told that women's sport has to be a place where women are sidelined. I came to play for the University of Nevada with a level of excitement, knowing we had a new coaching staff and I could make a difference to assure our team could compete with the best athletes in the Mountain West. Being a freshman is nerve-wracking. Everything is new, but to then carry the additional burden that we could be forced to play against someone that could significantly injure us and end our career, it's too heavy of a load. This issue has been thoroughly talked about with my team, meeting after meeting, talking about the consequences we might face for standing up for what we believe in. It has really taken a toll on our mental health when we should be focusing on school and the opportunity to make the Mountain West tournament. We have all spent countless hours preparing and training to be the best we can at this sport, and for a male to be able to compete against us when they don't have to work as hard to get the same results is baffling. Luckily, the University of Nevada women's volleyball team has been united and has stood together. I don't think I could have gotten through this without this support. Today, what I really want to say to all the young girls out there, you shouldn't have to have your achievements, your records, your successes diluted by having to play against or with a male player. You shouldn't have to risk your safety to play the game you love. It shouldn't be happening to us or any of the women in our conference. To every young girl and young woman, we, the University of Nevada women's volleyball team, and countless people across the country are standing up for you today. Join us. Women deserve better.
Hi guys, my name is Sierra Bernard.
And my name is Mason Navarro. And we are two volleyball players who compete for the University of Nevada Reno women's volleyball team. We both played volleyball for the last 10 years of our lives, and never once did we think we'd have to face this issue. We both moved away from Reno for our first year of college, playing at different schools, and we struggled being away our first year, which was extremely hard, so we decided to enter the transfer portal. We were beyond excited to find out that we had been recruited to come back home and play for our hometown school together. Volleyball has been a huge part of our friendship and lives, considering we spent 9 out of the last 10 years playing together. It has brought us many great memories that we will continue to cherish, and we are hopeful to create more while we finish our careers here at the University of Nevada, Reno. We were excited and hopeful until we were told that we would have to compete against a male athlete participating on the San Jose State University women's volleyball team. This has completely shocked us. We should not have to be here advocating for women today. There are people who make sports rules and who lead the NCAA and Mountain West Conference, and they should never have let this happen, and they should find their own courage to speak up when something is obviously wrong. It should not be this difficult to stand up for women. However, we will now take this opportunity to speak up as a team, as some who have been told to stay quiet.
I'm not sure everyone recognizes the sacrifice this team is making to be here, to give up a game in order to take a stand. It might sound small to the public, but it's not small to us. One game can be the difference between getting to compete at a championship or not. It can mean our whole season and a lifetime of work. We are here on this team because we love our sport. We sacrifice for our opportunities. We want to compete at our conference championships. We want to win, we want to play, but sports are not meant to teach us silence and conformity while we are being hurt. Sports are not... Sports are not meant to teach women that men's comfort and feelings are always more important. Sports are meant to teach us we are strong and valuable and that we deserve to be champions and award winners too. Sports have to be a place where women are treated fairly. The NCAA and the Mountain West Conference are denying us our right to equal and fair play. We have spent countless hours in the gym and fought so hard to make our dreams of being collegiate athletes come true. Now those dreams are being threatened by the priority given to the feelings of a male. The dreams of women are an afterthought. Fairness and safety are both taken away from women when men are included in women's sports. They're genetically stronger and faster. We don't have to pretend to ignore this. That doesn't mean women are weak and not determined. It just means we don't have to be compared to biology that we don't share. There's no male standard women must achieve. This is why women's sports exist, so that everyone, both male and female, have the equal opportunity to play the sport they love. We hope that by speaking up here today that we can inspire other young female athletes who might face the same issue because the organizations we play for are afraid to make change. We hope we can inspire coaches and parents and people in charge to stand with us. The dreams, aspirations, safety, and comfort of women should not be dismissed.
Thank you, and go Pack. And I will now be introducing my teammate, Kenna Dressel.
Just gonna raise this just a little bit. Just a little tall. Hello, everyone. My name is Kenna Dressel. I'm a junior middle blocker at the University of Nevada. I've been playing volleyball for the last 14 years, and it's always been my dream to be a college athlete. I started my college career at a junior college and worked my way up to play for the University of Nevada. I was so excited to continue my career at the next level. Volleyball has given me long-lasting friendships and skills that I will use for the rest of my life. I've loved volleyball with everything in me until it was challenged by the issue of men playing in women's sports. The shock of having to play against a biological male gave me pause. Why are me and my teammates being exposed to increased risk of injury? Why are our games being unfairly impacted by a male athlete who desires to play in our category? Why are my Title IX rights being ignored? So much time and emotional energy has been spent in meetings in the midst of keeping up with the strains of academic, travel, and training. Our season has been filled with turmoil and headache. We have all been directly affected by the distractions of having to stand up for our rights that were established over 50 years ago. Everyone knows there is a huge biological difference between men and women. We also know that women deserve to be treated fairly and have equal opportunity rights to sports. Our rights and to fair competition were fought for hard. This is about women. From developmental leagues to elite international platforms of the Olympics, it should be only women versus women. Why do those with power not enforce Title IX policy? Why is our physical well-being not being addressed and protected? Why can't we expect to compete on a fair level of playing field? Why are women so easily cast aside? Why are the feelings of men so much more important than all the feelings why are feelings of men so much more important than all these bigger questions for women? There are thoughts that go through our minds we wrestle with every day and we should never have to consider. Because the truth is, women matter. We matter. We deserve to be treated fairly, and we deserve safe sports. We deserve schools and sports authorities that will ensure this. Trailblazing female athletes paid the price so that we can enjoy fair competition. For the little girls and teen girls that I coach now, I'm standing in solidarity with female athletes everywhere to fight for the protection of women's sports. I am now calling upon the leaders of our school and conference, the leaders of the NCAA and sports governing bodies, politicians, parents, and players, do the right thing. Ensure that every girl at every level of sports has a fair and safe chance to compete. Make the change today. Thank you.
again, just really one more time, one more round of applause for this team, for these women. As you heard, as probably many of you in this room know, being former athletes, being parents of athletes, some of you athletes yourselves, forfeiting and accepting a loss like they have done, as you heard from Sierra and Mason, it can be detrimental to the rest of your season, really, especially in terms of conference play. But what is so amazing about these girls, they said, we know we're going to take a loss, but it's a loss we are willing to take, because there are some things that matter more than victory. And those things include our safety, the integrity of sport, and the future of young girls like those who sit here in this room. And speaking of the safety piece in particular, this is often something I think I forget about, because in my sport of swimming, which is again where my personal experience lies, we're not necessarily throwing elbows or anything like that. So I didn't have to worry about collision or throwing something at one another or anything like that. But these girls do. And we've seen this particular male athlete, but not limited to, that's for sure, give career-ending injuries and concussions to female athletes. What about, we saw it at University of Delaware recently, we saw it at the University of Iowa, we saw it at Air Force. I mean, these girls don't even, if you go back and watch the clips, they don't even have time to put their hands up. There's no reaction time that could have prevented them from getting the ball slammed in their faces. Or talk to Peyton McNabb, a high school senior at the time from the state of North Carolina, playing against a man in the sport of volleyball on the opposing team, which, might I add, a men's volleyball net is 7.5 inches higher than a women's volleyball net. It's almost as if we used to acknowledge biological differences. But this boy on the other team, he jumps up, he spikes the ball, it hits Peyton in the face to where she's immediately knocked unconscious, where she laid in a fencing position for many minutes before finally coming back around. This was in September of 2022. Okay, so over 2 years, still to this day, she's partially paralyzed on her right side. Her vision is impaired, her memory is impaired. She has to have special accommodations for testing at school because she can't retain information like she once could. She had dreams to go off to college and play softball, actually, but guess what? Those dreams were shattered. She no longer gets to do that because of the traumatic brain injury that she faced at the hands of a male and ultimately at the hands of the leaders who failed her. So again, kudos to these girls for being willing to call that out. We've seen this, of course, over recent weeks at the collegiate level, what we're here to talk about, but understand it's not, again, limited to the collegiate level. This is happening at every level. I'm talking from elementary school through professional athletics. This is happening. I'm going to call up someone to the stage who is from right here, your own backyard. Her name is Kendall Lewis. She goes to Galena High School. She's a varsity volleyball player who had to play, just recently, an opposing team at Washoe County High School that had a male on their team. She also had to play this same team last year, but I was talking to her out there and I said, how are you feeling? What is it really that ultimately inspired you to take a stand, to understand this is wrong? She said, I was sitting in class or wherever she was before the day of the game, and I just had this sick feeling in my stomach. She said I couldn't explain it, but I knew something wasn't right. It was like it all clicked to me that I could be putting myself and my teammates could be putting themselves in harm's way. And so I invite Kendall Lewis up to the stage to share her story.
Hi, my name is Kendall Lewis. I'm 17 and I am currently a junior in high school here in Washoe County. I've been a part of the volleyball program for 3 years. I am proud of the work and effort I've put in to get to where I am, a starter on my varsity team. As a middle blocker, it is my job to attempt to block almost every ball that comes over the net. I've seen many different attributes that contribute to the success of young women, and their swings are more powerful. However, I've also had to block male athletes in volleyball practices, which has helped me clearly understand the differences in male and female athletes. Men's swings are significantly stronger, their serves are more powerful, and and it can be hard to swing around the big block that they put up, and for this reason, it makes it dangerous for female athletes to play a male athlete. I now know what this feels like in competition because I experienced it firsthand this past week. When I first discovered I would be blocking and hitting against a male athlete in a game, fear ran through my body. I felt discouraged and overshadowed by someone I'd never met. He was allowed to rob girls of their chance to play, and people were afraid to tell him no. I knew in that moment I would have to push myself to extremes beyond the norm to compete. Even mentally, I'm ashamed that the school district and athletic programs are putting women's athletic careers on the line so they can say they are for a false version of equality where men obviously have the upper hand. This is unacceptable for men to be in a women's sports as it creates unnecessary danger and takes away fairness and opportunity for females trying to compete at each level of their sports. I am lucky enough to stand here today and speak up and fight for women's rights and sports and for future generations of girls. Together, we can bring women's athletics back to the females. Thank you.
Reno! I have to say, it is good to be home. First off, I want to apologize for the venue change. I've been living in Las Vegas for too many years now, and I forgot that when Reno wants to support something, you all show up. My name is Marcy Smith, and I'm a proud Reno High School graduate. Woo! Go Huskies. At Reno High, I was a 4-time Nevada State champion swimmer and was recruited to the University of Arizona on a full women's athletic scholarship. Bear down. At Arizona, I was able to accomplish a lifelong dream to win a Pac-10 and NCAA championship title in the 100 backstroke. It was a life-changing experience and one of the best days of my life for sure. So fast forward to 2022, while I was watching Riley Gaines on my television screen stand next to on the podium a male athlete, I was absolutely devastated. Leah Thomas was given a NCAA championship swim title and stood on the same podium step that I once stood long ago. I couldn't just stand idly by. I linked up with a mother of an Ivy League swimmer, Kim Jones, because we needed a women's organization to be the voice of female athletes, because all the ones in place that were supposed to be speaking up for women and girls had abandoned us. We founded ICONS, the Independent Council on Women's Sports, for various reasons, but number one, to create a network for where where female athletes, coaches, officials, and their parents could come and find a family, find support, and find their voice. We help to build awareness of instances that are so prevalent across this country at every level of sport and in every single sport. One of the things that we have recently taken on is bringing on a lawsuit against the NCAA with Riley Gaines and 18 other female athletes suing the NCAA. Their discriminatory policies has left a path of destruction in collegiate women's sports for years and will continue if they are not forced to do the right thing. Some of you may have heard of an athlete named Brooke Slessor. Brooke is our most recent addition to the lawsuit. She's added on as a plaintiff from San Jose State University's volleyball team, where she is a teammate of a male athlete. She bravely stood up against her teammate, against her university, her coaches, in order to speak freely her voice and stand up for women in volleyball. And since that day, we have seen 4 conference teams forfeit matches against San Jose State. Another thing we do at Icons is consult sports governing bodies and policymakers on enacting strong policy that defends the rights of women and girls. While the Biden-Harris administration has systematically been dismantling the sex-based protections of Title IX, our sitting senator here in Nevada, Senator Jackie Rosen, demanded the Department of Education to allow men and boys to participate in the sex category of their choice, claiming, and I quote, that it would in no way disadvantage their fellow female students. Then just 2 weeks ago, she was asked during the Senate candidate debate if men should be allowed to compete in women's sports, and answered that she trusts the governing leagues and policymakers to decide whether men can compete in women's sports. So let's hear what policymakers are saying about this situation now. Just last week, the Mountain West Commissioner, Gloria Nevarez, told the Associated Press, who is here today with us, "I don't know a lot of the language yet, or the science, or the understanding nationally of how this issue plays out." This is halfway through the season after several teams have already forfeited. The University of Nevada president, Brian Sandoval, claims it's illegal for the university to back their female players and to take a stand for their fair treatment. Our leaders, our policymakers, are failing our girls. Their failed leadership and discriminatory policies in Nevada specifically have led to at least 3 girls' state high school titles falling to boys in the past 2 years in alpine skiing and track and field, and continues to harm high school female students like Kendall in the state in volleyball today, this season. Legislators, athletic directors, commissioners, presidents, If you have any principles at all, and you think that it is against the law for you to protect and defend women, then you need to stand up and change the law. Change the rules or get out of the way. It is not illegal in the United States of America to speak up and demand respect, fair treatment, and equal opportunities for our female athletes. Next, I have the pleasure and honor of introducing up to the stage a friend of mine, a former coworker, an unbelievable woman, and someone who can dominate a volleyball court. Jen Hucky is a Nevada Gatorade Player of the Year. She's a two-time Nevada State volleyball champion, a two-time Nevada Player of the Year, and a two-time national champion at Stanford University. Welcome, Jen.
Thank you, everyone, very much. I only have a couple of minutes. I've got a lot to say, so I better not go off script. I first want to thank Marshy for inviting me and everyone who put this together. It's a tremendous honor to be in front of you and seeing how many people have come out today. Like millions of women across the country, I've been watching what's going on at UNR and other universities. I want to take this opportunity to let you all know what an inspiration you've been. As a former athlete, I cannot imagine what it's been like for you all. My biggest concern in college was studying for tests, going to practice, and wondering what they were serving at training table for dinner that night. You are all faced with a decision that no woman should have to deal with, and you've handled it with dignity and grace. Growing up in a small farming community to two hard-working teachers and farmers, my dream of attending an elite university seemed out of reach. But early on, I was determined I was going to use my athletic ability and work hard and get a scholarship. When my dream school, Stanford University, said they had 2 scholarships available for my class, you can imagine the overwhelming joy and gratitude I had when I found out I was a recipient of one of those scholarships. I worked my whole life for this opportunity. Never went to a dance, a prom, a school function for that matter. I was determined to get good grades and become the best volleyball player in the country. I can't imagine if I was told that my scholarship would be given to a male athlete. My dreams would have been shattered in an instant, which sadly has become reality for many girls today. While at Stanford, we often trained with male athletes, challenging and preparing us for upcoming matches. These individuals were junior high level players at best, but still very good. There was a reason we never played against the Stanford men's team. Most of them were 6'6" to 6'7", and on a women's net could cause serious injury to their female opponents. Beyond the physical aspect, the idea of having to share a locker room with a male is incomprehensible. The insecurities that most females deal with during this influential time in their lives is only being intensified and publicized by the universities that are supposed to protect them. Many times, Marshy has asked me to speak on this topic at different events, and I've always declined because I was afraid to offend anyone or outside influencers telling me that I shouldn't do it. It wasn't until this past week someone at your university approached me and asked me, "What side of history do you want to be on?" And that shook me to the core and really jolted me because college athletics gave so much to me on and off the court. And I want to make sure to preserve that for all women for years to come. And standing with women is the right side of history. Thank you.
Now I have the distinct honor and pleasure of introducing Nevada's Lieutenant Governor, Anthony Stavros.
Well, was not expecting this many people to show up. I'm glad we moved the venue because we would not have fit in the wall. So thank you. Again, my name is Stavros Anthony. I'm honored to be your Nevada Lieutenant Governor. And a couple of weeks ago, I was watching a movie that just came out. And it was about a young lady named Gertrude Ederle. I don't know if anybody have heard of her. She was a young girl that grew up in the 1920s. And she was starting to become a very good swimmer. And she wanted to compete. And the men at the time said, women do not compete, period. Only men compete in sports. And she basically said, screw this. She started competing. She started pushing the issue. She ended up being the first woman to swim the English Channel, beat the record for men. She ended up winning Olympic medals, becoming national champions, and she changed female sports forever. And so that tells you that women have been fighting for over 100 years to make sure that they are on the same playing field when it comes to female athletes. And you know, up to a couple of years ago, things were actually okay. Men were playing men, women were playing women. Women's sports was actually getting very, very exciting. A lot more athletes in many different sports, and loved watching it on TV. But things are not okay today. They're not okay. For some reason, and I don't know how this all started, maybe Riley knows how it actually came to be, but now today, men want to play in women's sports. It's tragic. It's absolutely tragic. It's not safe. It's not fair, and it's not right. Women are getting hurt by men in women's sports. The United Nations just came out with a report a couple of days ago that said around the world, 900 championship medals were taken by women from men. Oh. Did I say that wrong? Okay. I got a lot of stuff to say up here. So 900 medals were taken from women by men. Thank you. You guys are paying attention. Very nice. You're paying attention. So, but things are changing. Because, I mean, I was talking about this a year or two ago, and a lot of other people have been going around and around. But things are changing today because the women in the arena are rising up. The women in the arena are rising up. Riley Gaines is doing it nationally. We have our courageous women's volleyball team here who's doing it in our state. And I tell you, I see more and more female athletes saying, I'm not taking this anymore. I'm not taking playing against men. And I want you to know, really, my message today for you is, you are not alone. I'm with you. Look at all the people here that are with you. Absolutely. I guarantee you that hundreds of thousands in Nevada are with you, and millions across the country are with you. Absolutely. So what are we going to do? Well, the next legislative session begins next year, February 3rd. I'm the president of the Senate, and I've already spoken to Assemblyman Gurr, who is going to introduce legislation for women athletes to protect them in the Assembly. I've spoken to a couple of senators that are going to introduce in the Senate legislation to protect women's sports. As president of the Senate, I am going to start a Fairness in Women's Sports Caucus or committee during the legislative session. Because we need to beat this like a drum every single day. And that's what we're going to do next year during the legislative session and get something passed. And I know there are other state legislators here. There are local officials here. I don't want to name names because I'll forget somebody. Hopefully we have Sam Brown as a future senator here that's going to support us. And I want to thank Joey Gilbert, wherever he is, for defending these women. So as far as I'm concerned, as Nevada's Lieutenant Governor, I'm done talking, and it's time to start doing something. And we're going to do that. Thank you, and God bless.
Well, thank you guys very much. That concludes all of the speakers that we have today. But I just wanted to one more time bring the team up on stage, bring Kendall up on stage. Look, I'm in the way. Can you see? Which, aren't their shirts awesome, by the way? I love these shirts. I'll tell you, I initially, clearly, 2 years ago, when the idea was presented to me, why don't you just step down, Riley? Why don't you not compete? I didn't think that was the answer at the time. I thought, why should I have to do that? I'm the one who's trained hard to be here. I don't think I should have to make that sacrifice. But let me tell you, of course, I've had my eyes just entirely open. The mask has been taken off. I understand now. It wasn't just about me in that moment. That's what these girls realized much sooner, much quicker than I did. It is the answer. I can't even believe that we have to say that. I'm the biggest proponent for girls playing in sports because, of course, I got to reap the benefits of what this looks like. It taught me how to be a leader. It taught me how to set goals and work to achieve those goals. It taught me how to be resilient, and no person, regardless of any identity factor, even people who identify as trans, we're not saying that there's not a place for these people to compete. Of course there is. But compete in the category that is safe, number one, and fair, number two, and that is the category that aligns with your sex. As you heard from these girls, as you heard from Marshy, again, to just reiterate the point, the people who are supposed to be protecting them have failed, and they have failed miserably. If our leaders cannot find it within themselves to defend women, to defend common sense, then it's time we elect or we find new leaders. And those are leaders like Stavros Anthony. Those are leaders like Sam Brown. Those are leaders like Donald Trump. And look, these girls had an amazing op-ed in Fox yesterday. I encourage you all to go read it. But I don't say that because I think this is a political issue. It's not. Well, at least it shouldn't be. Of course, it's inevitable that it has become one. But this shouldn't be a political issue because it's not about politics. This is a humanitarian issue, okay? But unfortunately, it seemingly has become that. We've seen it in the State House here. Of course, we've seen it at the federal level. And the way that the Protection of Women and Girls in Sports Act was introduced in both the House and the Senate, it fell entirely on party lines. Meaning, in the U.S. House, 219 Republicans voted in favor of protecting women and girls in sports, and all 203 Every single last one of them, mothers and fathers of their own young daughters. All 203 Democrats voted in opposition of protecting women and girls in sports. And it's the same thing in the Senate by your wonderful Senator Jackie Rosen, who voted in opposition of these girls. Raise your hand if you are in this room, if you are under, let's say, 12 years old, and you know that boys and girls are different. Congratulations, you're all smarter than our president. To really put a bow on it, when Brian Sandoval, when he says this is the compassionate thing, ask these girls. Is it compassionate to ask a young girl to undress in front of a grown, fully intact man in the locker room? That's not what compassion is. And when Stephanie Rimpey, the athletic director here, when she says that this is what being inclusive is that really what inclusion is? Asking these girls to smile and step aside and allow a man onto our court? No, that's not inclusion, that's exclusion. And it's exclusive to the very female athletes. It's exclusive to the very female athletes who Title IX and the women's sporting category was passed to protect. And when the AP, when the Associated Press tells us that we need to learn how to be kind, this is what kindness is. It's not kind to lie to anyone, and that is what our leaders are doing. They are lying, they're denying objective truth, biological reality, a truth we have never struggled to understand. In the nearly 250 years we've been established as a country, and certainly much longer than that, that truth being man and woman. The sheer essence of humanity. Hate to break it to every single person in this room, never mind the AP reporter who's going to write the story today, you're all here for man and woman, and we are being asked to deny that. That's as if we're being asked to deny that the sky is blue. Or better yet, don't even deny that it's blue, say that it's purple, or else. That is the point that we have reached in society. Again, couldn't be more proud of these girls. I know they're not on the court today, but understand, you guys are still on a team. You are still fighting for a common goal. And it's a goal, it's a mission that I believe is much greater than any victory on any court today. And so appreciate you guys. Again, icons, Marcy, who you heard up here, she has been just pivotal, really, I mean, paramount in the fight to protect women's sports, protect women more broadly. As you heard, we are suing the NCAA on the grounds of, failing at their most basic duties, ensuring privacy in areas of undressing, ensuring safety, ensuring equal opportunity. And so we're hoping, I'm actually incredibly optimistic that we will be victorious in that battle as well. Means a lot for all of you to be here. Again, for me personally, who has been screeching till I'm blue in the face that there are two sexes and that you can't change your sex, and that each sex is deserving of equal opportunities for the past 2 years now. So this means a lot for me personally, but again, it means a lot to these girls, as you saw by the raw emotion shared with you all on this stage. Continue coming to their games if you can, support these girls. I know they will continue representing the University of Nevada really well like they've done today. So thank you guys, we really appreciate it.
Pack on three, 1, 2, 3, pack! Let's go!
really very briefly, all of the young athletes who are here today, we would love to invite you to the stage to take a photo.